Hello, I'm Ryan Sunglee of Rappler.com. Today I'll be speaking with Jeff Horn, the undefeated Australian boxer who will be challenging Manny Pacquiao for the WBO welterweight title on July 2nd in Horn's backyard of Brisbane, Australia. Jeff, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Oh, well, thank you very much for being on. Um, First off, I want to ask you, how have you handled the deluge of attention that you have received both at home and in the boxing community worldwide since talk of this fight first came about, and now, of course, that the fight is official?
Look, I've had negative comments towards me for a long time throughout my whole career in boxing, and it's just something that you have to deal with. I don't let any comments kind of get to me. I get people messaging me horrible things on the internet, but yeah, I get obviously a lot of positive comments as well.
Well, perhaps you could share one of them that is appropriate for people to hear about. What are some of the things that people have told you?
um, that Manny's gonna absolutely smash me. I get heaps of comments like that, those ones, and you're not in the same league. There's some swear words added in there, but I won't say those.
Yeah, yeah. Like, so how do you deal with that sort of stuff coming towards you? Do you have to block it out, or do you use it as motivation that you might be able to prove some of these people wrong?
Yeah, basically, I use it as motivation to prove them wrong. That's exactly what I do. It doesn't bother me the slightest, really, that what they're saying. All I'll use it is in a positive way and train harder to try and prove them wrong.
Hmm. And of course, when we're speaking about Manny Pacquiao, we're speaking of one of the best fighters of this century so far. Give me your assessment of where you think Manny Pacquiao is right now as a fighter. He's 38 years old, which is about a full 9 years older than yourself. Um, do you think that he still has much left in the tank as a fighter? And do you think that people are perhaps judging you against a younger version of Manny Pacquiao and not the Manny Pacquiao that is fighting today?
That's I think that's hard to say on him because he's done so well and he's versed a guy in Jesse Vargas, which was in his youth and in his prime. So and he absolutely destroyed him in his last fight. So I don't know how people can say how past it he is. Look, he might have lost a couple of percentages maybe, but I still think he's still definitely one of the greatest fighters out there, and he's still got the world title.
Hmm. Um, would you say that you were an admirer of him as a boxing observer? That there was anything about him that you appreciated as a fighter?
Yeah, I think it's amazing how he's come up from all these weight divisions. He's been stopping all these guys. He's stopping a lot of welterweights, but man, he's done a massive job. And he's had a great career so far. So and he's been exciting the whole way through. No matter what fight he's in, he's always working and he's got power in both hands.
But can you say that your youth won't be a factor? Because boxing is a young man's business. It's a young man's sport. Do you think that that will help you much when the bell rings?
I'm not sure. Time will tell. I will say yes because I want to win the fight, and if I've got youth on my side, then that's just one advantage I'll use against him. So we'll definitely be testing his legs out.
Hmm. Yes, when you're fighting world champions, all the advantages you can get help. This is a very rare occasion for Manny Pacquiao because he's used to fighting in places like Las Vegas where he's already built up a fan base. The Suncor Stadium, where the fight will be taking place, I believe seats 55,000 for this fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a 55,000 seated stadium.
Hmm. And I assume it's in your hometown. You'll probably have a bit more a few more fans there at least. Do you think that that kind of uh, environment will also be material when the bell rings? Because it's very rare that you'll hear people cheering for the opponent over Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, I suppose so. He's probably brave to come into my home state and and win the fight. He is the world champion. He could have chosen wherever he wanted to fight me. But I guess it's good business for him in politics to kind of spread his name around. We've got a high Filipino community, so but there's going to be a lot of people cheering for Pacquiao, but there's going to probably be hopefully more cheering for me in the stadium.
Absolutely, because there's been talk about this potentially being the biggest fight in Australian history, and one thing Australia has had a great boxing history. There've been many fighters who were heroes. There hasn't been that guy in recent years. That person, that Australian boxer that the fans can really get behind. Do you think that this is an opportunity for you to become that guy, say in the vein of like a Jeff Fennick, perhaps, or maybe even to an extent Kosh
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. Those two guys were absolute legends in their time, and this is my opportunity to mimic something that they've done. And as I've said before, the only way to become a legend is to beat one, and Manny Pacquiao certainly is a legend.
Mm-hmm. I also want to ask you, when I spoke to Manny a while back, I asked him about fighting you, and he had said that he hadn't heard of you before. Did you take that statement as any kind of disrespect towards you as a person and as a fighter?
Um, yes and no. I thought, well, I'm pretty sure when he was asked that question, the fight had been offered to me, so I was a bit confused in the fact that he had never heard of me. Uh, but I guess I'm not that well known across the world yet. But I I think I'm going to be after this fight, especially if I win, when
Yes.
I win.
Yes, and I want to ask you: do you have to prepare differently for fighting a guy like Manny Pacquiao than, say, for some of the guys that you fought before? Some of them who were world-class fighters at one time, but maybe perhaps a few years past it.
Yeah, it's definitely my training is going to be upped in this preparation. It's going to be the hardest I've ever worked before. Manny's got that busy style, so I'm going to have to be very fit to kind of keep up with him. Even though he's 38, he can still move around and throw a lot of punches and bunches.
Hmm. I've even heard that you guys are hoping to bring in as sparring partners Vasyl Lomachenko and Errol Spence. Those are two pretty good fighters. Where are you guys with that so far? Have you had any headway towards that?
Um, yeah, well, that's the plan. It would be absolutely excellent to get someone like Vasyl Lomachenko over for sparring. He'd be absolutely perfect in my mind, but and I guess my coach's mind. Uh, but he's going to be a hard guy to get over. I understand that. Errol Spence, I probably think less of getting over because he's someone that I plan on beating in the future if I get past Pacquiao.
Hmm. And I wanted to also talk a little bit about your background. Some people may not know this about you. You have a teaching degree from Griffith University. That's correct, right?
Yes, that's correct.
What was it that made you want to, at one point, become a teacher?
I guess I had some good role models at school, and I love school. I guess I love HBE, and that's why I studied to become a HBE teacher because I had so much fun teaching it, and I always thought I was going to be something in sport, and I was hoping I was going to be a professional sports person. I never thought it would be boxing. I thought it was always going to be something like soccer, which I played for 12 years. But somehow I found well, boxing more found me than I found it.
Mhm. Yeah, because I remember when we spoke, I believe last year, uh, we were talking about how your school was. There were some rough kids who were giving you a hard time, and that was what kind of brought you to boxing. Tell me about that. What was that like? What was it that brought you to the boxing gym?
Yeah, I guess that was I got into a few fights at high school and I lost most of them. So I decided I've got to learn to protect myself, especially when I go outside of school and there's adults that possibly could do that to you and probably hurt me a lot more than what another kid could do. So that's probably what drew me to going to, which is I went to a martial arts gym, which turned into the boxing gym when I was there. Um, so yeah, that's what got me there.
Yeah, and good thing for them, there was no rematch clause on those street fights that you got
Yeah,
involved in.
yeah,
And also because people may not be familiar with you as a professional, but as an amateur, you went to the Olympics in 2012. You were a quarterfinalist, I believe. Um, did that really help prepare you for these kind of moments when you're on the world stage?
Definitely. I think the amateurs was pretty much my degree for the pro ranks, which is what how it should be. I had a lot of fights overseas against very experienced guys with lots of skills. I think that's what put me in the position where I am today, where I've kind of jumped through the pro ranks quite quickly and got to a position now where I'm ranked number 2 in the world and I can fight someone like Manny Pacquiao.
Mhm. And I want to ask you, not to look too far ahead, but if you do manage to get a victory against a guy like Manny Pacquiao, what would that do for your life and for your career?
Well, I guess it sets me up. I might not have to worry too much about money anymore, which is would be a positive aspect, I suppose, in anyone's life. And yeah, I'll finally reach my goal where I want to be world champion. But if I win this, my goal will be to be unified world champion, not just world champion of the WBO.
Yes, understood. And what can people expect? Because a lot of people, they, as you've yourself are understanding, they may not have heard of you. What can they expect from you on fight night when you get in the ring in Brisbane?
They can just expect a very exciting fight. I haven't got a style where I sit back and counter. I'm a come forward style as well, so there's going to be fireworks no matter what in this fight with me and Pacquiao. The way we both will clash.
And I would be remiss if I forgot to ask you. You know, there was a lot of ups and downs. The fight was on, the fight was off. Now the fight's back on. How did you? Because you know you're at home. You have to train. You have to stay in shape, and you don't know if the fight's going to happen or not. How did you handle that emotional roller coaster when you weren't sure if the fight was going to happen or not?
It was very very frustrating. That's all I can say is I was still training. I knew I was going to fight eventually. Might not have been against Pacquiao, but I knew it was going to be another very good opponent out there. They were talking about Vargas or Bradley at some stages. So I was just waiting. I was just keeping a steady pace and training until I knew a date of when I was going to fight, and that kept on changing until finally I heard that news. The fight was on.
Hmm did you? Was it hard not to take it personally when it seemed that Manny Pacquiao really was not interested in fighting you because he was talking about on social media wanting to fight Khan, and then he had talked to Khan's people, and he was saying that there was an agreement, and then that business venture fell through. Was it hard not to take it personally when Manny appeared to be acting dismissively towards you?
Mm. It it was hard. It was hard to kind of watch when I saw those interviews. I was kind of very confused and going, "What's going on here? Why is he saying he's never heard of me and that this fight isn't on?" And then he was chasing the Khan fight. So I understand why he was chasing the Khan fight and why he was wanting to fight in the UAE for all that money. So I can tell that I don't really take um, hold that against him for doing that. But I guess it's always a bit scary fighting the unknown, and I'm definitely unknown to Pacquiao.
Yes, yes. And lastly, is it an advantage to you? I don't know if Manny Pacquiao right now that the fight is official is looking past you, but many people are underestimating you, at least in the public. They've kind of a lot of people have written you off. Does that make it less? Does that take the pressure off of you a bit because so many people are looking past you that any kind of success even would be seen as almost a victory.
Yeah, I think it's going to be people are going to look at it negative no matter what. Whether I've fought the opponents, I've fought some very good opponents in the past, but whether they think because they don't know who I am or they didn't see those fights, it probably either didn't happen or they'll say the opponents weren't that good. So um, I think I've done well in the pro ranks and I've versed some very good fighters and especially like few of the guys that I fought, like Ahmed El Masoui, he was very good. Um, Ben Robert was very good. Randall Bailey, they're all big names. Um, and I've beaten them all.
Great, great. And lastly, would you have a prediction for the fight when you guys meet on July 2nd?
I predict I'll win. I don't know how I'll win, whether that's knockout or points, but I'm very confident I can beat him.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff, for speaking with us, and hopefully we can talk to you again before the fight happens.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for talking to me as well.
Absolutely. Once again, we want to thank Jeff Horn for speaking with us today. I'm Ryan Songalia for Rappler.com. Thank you very much for tuning in.